What's up, traders? Thank you so much for clicking on this video right here. I really do appreciate your time. I appreciate your support. Thank you all so very much. Go join our free Telegram group. The link is going to be in the description below. Go join. We're nearly at 50 traders. I think we need one more just to hit 50, and we're going to have hundreds more joining up real soon. The link is in the description below. Go join up. We are live streaming now from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on schedule and how the markets are looking. But we are going live here on YouTube, so come and join. Here in this video, we're actually going to recap a trade that we took on live stream today. We fucking lost. Would you look at that, bro? We took an L. I'm actually going to pull it up. So it was on GBPJPY. I document my trades in Notion as a trading journal. And so my on GJ, my pre-trade thought process, I'm going to just expand this right here. So doing a top-down analysis, the weekly time frame, you can see price on the weekly, it had turtle souped and it rejected this turtle soup and it sent lower for south side external range liquidity as the next draw on liquidity. Okay. And then since the turtle soup, we have seen the 3 candle wick swing high right here. And since then, from there, the previously weekly candle wicks, they have been holding lower highs and have broken and made lower lows, right? So my bias is bearish, and I'm expecting a weekly bearish power of three. Okay. So if you don't know what a power of three is, that's accumulation, which happens at the open of a candle. So it's the open accumulation. Manipulation happens whenever price, so at the accumulation, price engineers liquidity on buy side and sell side of that range, of the accumulation consolidation range, and the manipulation will take liquidity to one side and it'll make the high of the week or the low of the week. And then distribution, that's the power of three: accumulation, manipulation, distribution. So then it'll distribute off of that and sell off, or it'll fly. In this situation, I wanted to see it open, manipulate high, and then sell off and make a lower low, take out these external range lows and whatnot, right? So then I dropped to the daily time frame to get a little bit more insight. And right here on the daily time frame, it only had one PDA of interest, which is this daily bearish fair value gap, which is above the previous weekly high, which is notated right here, which would also be a turtle soup liquidity run, right? Right here, you got that turtle soup liquidity sitting right here. So if price manipulated up into that daily fair value gap, it not only turtle soups, but it also takes out the previous week's high, another liquidity grab, and then we could look for, selling opportunity from there. This is my thought process behind this trade, okay? So everything in my mind is looking good. I dropped to the 4 hour, and here on the 4 hour, you can see that price, it currently manipulated Judas swing into the previous bearish order block that has held 3 times in the past. You can see right here, 1, 2, and then right over here, this is the order block that I'm talking about. So 1 right here, 2 times right here, 3 times even with this wick, you know what I mean? So it's held multiple times in the past with this specific 4 hour order block, okay? Demonstrating that this is a strong area of sensitivity. And you can see the weekly open right here. So weekly opened and it's going high, manipulating into these, you know, bearish PDAs, and you can see this liquidity that price has just taken out there, taken out again, potentially going to take out some more and then sell off because we obviously lost this trade, right? But so what I wrote down in the moment, I put for my pre-trade thought process. Currently, I am bearish based off the weekly, anticipating a bearish weekly candle to form. Price has manipulated above the weekly open and is currently within 4 hour internal range liquidity that has been held multiple times in the past. My emotions currently are patient. I have to wait for a 15-minute market maker sell model that holds the low risk sell. We are remaining patient. and neutral sitting on our hands right now. I do believe we have a pretty solid setup on our hands. I do wish it were a 1 hour market maker sell model, but we will adapt to the market conditions here. That's what I wrote. That was my pre-trade thought process. So as soon as I entered the trade, we'll expand this here. So I entered the trade. You can see that the 15-minute has market structure shifted bearish. So this was a market structure shift point, and it broke that point, closed below it. And the low risk sell, which was the retracement, it has held and it created an intermediate term high because it had this 3 candle wick swing high to the left of it and this 3 candle wick swing high to the right of it, making this one a 3 candle wick swing high right here, an intermediate term high specifically. And if price is bearish, this intermediate term high should hold. It should not get ran. Same with this long-term high right here as well. Because if this is a reversal, this highest point becomes the long-term high, okay? So I am anticipating this leg right here because once we sold off from that low risk sell, price retraced, and I anticipated this leg to be the first stage of distribution in the market maker sell model. Okay, so I have entered a market order in premium price. It was above that premium price 50% fib level at the bearish fair value gap that we had from this displacement gap right here. Okay. Stop loss, I put it above the long-term high, being very conservative here. And if price takes it out, it is not ready to sell off. That's my idea here. And my take profit is a 1 to 2R. Okay. So 15-minute, this is what I typed. 15-minute tapped into this bearish 4 hour PDA, market structure shifted bearish, disrespecting the bullish fair value gap that price sent higher from previously. Price also displaced, providing a new bearish fair value gap that the low risk sell retraced into. And it created a legit intermediate term high, and it sent price lower, holding that low risk sell, and price has now retraced into premium price as well as a bearish fair value gap. We placed a market sell order at this price level. We placed our stop loss conservatively above the intermediate term high and the long term high at this price level. And take profit is a little bit of a distance at a 1 to 2R price level. Okay. So you can see right here, I added another image, and this is where after I entered, price was just wrecking me, bro. It was looking very scary. And whenever I put that, I was like, currently my emotions are like, what the fuck, bro? Every time I start a new challenge, like a new prop firm challenge, my first trade usually always wrecks me. Like, what the hell, dude? Like, I am honestly nervous and scared of price hitting my stop loss right now. I'm like questioning my strategy a little bit, but I know I need to stick to my model, dude. I know how good this model is, and if this setup happens to wreck me, we reset. I'm going to try my best to control my emotions now and not allow my fear to overcome me. I do feel fear right now. Interesting. And then after that, gave it a little bit of time. During this is all during the trade. During the trade, I'm writing this down. Right now, 15-minute is waking into the 79% OTE level, and the bearish fair value gap that held the intermediate term high and sent price lower. I am hoping price does not close above this this fair value gap and 79% level. After typing that, I realize I am letting hope take over. These emotions are happening as I am looking at what price is doing. Maybe it would be best to just close the charts after I take a position and let it ride to stop loss or take profit. Ride to stop loss or take profit. We will see as we continue journaling, I wrote down. Gave it a little bit more time, and I wrote, I believe I may get wrecked as weekly has created a bearish fair value gap that this week might wick into as internal range liquidity, sweeping the previous week high That's that daily fair value gap that we kind of showed on the daily time frame a little earlier. Um, and then price on the 15-minute has closed above the 79% fib level. If price closes above the fair value gap, I am concerned and questioning if I should close early and protect capital. However, if price just turns back into profit, I will be kicking myself in the ass, dude, because I've done that a lot, honestly. I think I will allow my intuition to take over, and it is telling me to close the position if the fair value gap does not hold and protect our capital. And if price melts, it will be okay. We will look for the silver bullet second stage of distribution. So I'm just reassuring myself, okay, providing myself that preventing FOMO from taking over, right? And so right here, you can see I added another screenshot. This was a candle that closed above that 79% level. And this is the fair value gap we're talking about. And then boom, this red candle came in. And I put, we have been brought back by this big red bearish candle, respecting the bearish FVG again. Also respected the intermediate term high. It did not run it out. And that right there, I wrote down, I am hyped that this big red candle came in respecting the bearish fair value gap. Bit of excitement. I may need to check myself. LOL. We will get better with your psychology, Jordan. I promise. For those of you that don't know, my legal government name is Jordan, bro. So I'm going to talk to myself in these journals, okay? So um we will get better with your psychology, Jordan. I promise, okay? So, with that being said, as we continue lower, um right here, I'm going to delete this because this is good. We are done with that. So step 3 is to write what strategy you used for the setup. So the strategy I used was the weekly power of 3 into a 4-hour bearish order block, into a 15-minute market maker sell model, which had a low risk sell, into first stage distribution, and we entered here. Second stage of distribution, silver bullet, hasn't happened yet. Trail stop loss at the intermediate term low slash intermediate term high. I'm going to just put intermediate term high from the first stage or second stage of distribution. So trade management right here, right? Oops, I didn't mean to download that. That's totally fine. So as I expand this here, this is my trade management. So right here, as that big red candle came in, the next candle opened and it started heading lower, tapped into that 23% level. I have now trailed my stop loss from that long-term high to the 3 candle wick swing high of the first stage of distribution. And I was considering this the first stage of distribution as price was beginning to sell off, respecting that fair value gap, respecting that intermediate term high. Okay, this is my thought process. For this setup, I did not dollar cost average my risk, DCA. I have trailed my stops so far to the first stage of distribution at this price level. This is my post trade thought process right here. So we got stopped out negative 0.5%. This is where we trailed our stop loss and we got wicked out right here. And then price eventually just ended up taking us out fully right there, right? So I wrote down, I believe what went well was sticking to our model and approach and not allowing fear to prevent us from entering or second guessing our trade. My risk and trade management was solid. Maybe though we should have waited for the first stage of distribution to take out the external range liquidity sell side low 0% fib, which was, whenever it was distributing lower, maybe taking out this low right here is what I meant. Um, we will see and update this depending on if price takes out the long-term high or if it melts. And then as the day went on, I seen what happened. So I wrote in these parentheses, price actually took out the long-term high. So by trailing our stops, we actually protected our capital and lost less than we would have if we didn't trail stops when we did. This is something that can potentially be improved. Okay. You want to write down what can be improved in this approach, right? This is something that can technically potentially be improved. Okay. I'm going to continue to document if first stage of distribution leg needs to break the low or just make the 3 candle wick swing, which is that 3 candle wick swing high. Once it created that and it started sending price lower, somewhat move away to truly get a good accurate read on what the correct approach is. Okay. So we're going to continue to document that. I didn't break any current rules that I have for myself. I don't trade Mondays. Today was a Tuesday. I don't really have too many rules, you know what I mean? I do think I was too early because of the weekly fair value gap internal range liquidity that this week or following weeks can tap into potentially, right? The market conditions, they were trending, but as the stop out happened, we began consolidating cents. And you can kind of see here, we got stopped out right here and we started consolidating. So from here to here, we just been in this little range and we finally broke out of that range. Maybe it'll go lower. We'll just have to find out and see, right? But no news events affected this trade, possibly market conditions. It's really hard to say. I think the biggest factor here was being too early. I don't believe emotions had any part in this trade. I think I was calm and collected. I followed my plan and rules and my trailing stop strategy. But again, we could have moved stops too early trailing. We maybe should have waited. But once the 3 candle wick swing high closed is when I moved it. Trade execution, I'm going to write right here too. Again, though, could have lost -1% versus we did lose -0.5%. So it was still better outcome. Trade execution, it was solid. What I would do different next time is probably not taking entry off the 15-minute. I do prefer 1 hour and higher as my entry time frames. Maybe I can prevent that going forward. I did learn about the first stage of distribution leg situation, and now I'm going to backtest and during live tests pay attention to if price has to take the external range on the distribution, or if the 3 candle wick swing high forming is the actual point we can and should trail our stops. My mindset needs to stay in check. I did notice hope and fear today. I need to remain neutral, calm, and collected. And you can kind of see this is how current price is. So we got stopped out right here. Price ended up taking out that long-term high right here. And now price is kind of making the move, maybe. Who knows, bro? We'll have to see. But again, we're not going to trade that 15-minute. I want to stay off the 15-minute. But this is my self-reflection. I'm going to be nice to myself, uplift myself with positive, constructive criticism. So I am satisfied with my performance to an extent. I want to not trade the 15-minute going forward, and I believe taking entry off the 1 hour or 4 hour is what I can and will do better. My mental and emotional state before I sat down to trade was good. I was actually excited because I was live streaming for the first time in months, dude. Nothing other than that really affected my trading. I don't believe my emotions were in charge here. I do believe I had full control. As of right now, I have not noticed any patterns or self sabotaging habits. Based on this trade and the feedback I got, I do believe I am evolving in my trading, not staying stuck. Good job, Jordan. I am proud of you. Keep going hard. So that's going to be the recap on this specific trade here. I took the trade at 7:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the New York session, and it resulted in a loss on our 10K funding pips challenge, prop firm challenge. It's a 2-phase challenge. We are currently down 0.5%, and tomorrow we are going to live stream at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come join us. We will see you in that one, okay? I hope you got some value from this video. If you did, please, I'm gonna actually reset this real quick. If you got some value, you guys, please pull it up right here. Please drop a like on this video. If you have any questions, comment. If you're not already subscribed, I hope I earned your subscription. Subscribe, turn on that bell, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good night.